Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm properly audible and visible. Good evening. Yes, I hope I'm properly audible and visible to all of you. So, yes, we could not meet last day, but yes, today again we are going to start the session, and we have got some of the important news articles today. One of the first news article is with respect to industrial alcohol. You might have seen, if you have gone through the last day newspaper, there was a very important news that is with respect to industrial alcohol. So that is one thing which we are going to now discuss. Supreme Court has given a remarkable judgment with respect to this. No sound. Uh, is the sound, is it properly audible to everyone? Is the sound clear? Is it properly audible to everyone? Okay, fine. So Virendra, you can check it once. It is audible. So we have got this one thing that states can regulate industrial alcohol. So that is one thing which we are going to discuss. The second thing which we are going to discuss is with respect to this Great Indian Bustard. So this is also continuously there in the news. So we are going to discuss about this second thing also, Great Indian Bustard. And then we are going to discuss about this 1.5 degrees Celsius target. Okay. So we have got this environment outlook of United Nations. So in that context, we are also going to discuss. This topic of climate change. So we are going to discuss about these topics right now. Okay. Now, before we go into that, let's see some questions. We have got some questions with respect to IMF also, economy also, and some questions with respect to polity as well. So let's try these questions. Okay. This one question is related to the Great Indian Bustard and India's Desert National Park. So it is a very famous question from previous year questions of 2020. With reference to India's Desert National Park, which of the following statement are correct? It is spread over 2 districts. There is no human habitation inside the park, and it is one of the natural habitats of the Indian bustard. So this is one such topic which is very much famous. I think why gym trainer said to eat non-veg instead of veg. That is there normally it is being said just because of protein content. Virendra, I think the sound is there. You might have to check. Jeenath, I am not there in Delhi for the time being. I will be back after Deepavali, and then I will take some extra classes to cover your batch's current affairs. So I have already talked about that with the team. So I will be taking some extra classes there in Karol Bagh and in other online batches also. So I will take that. Okay. Now just see this question. With reference to India's Desert National Park, which of the following statement are correct? It is spread over 2 districts. There is no human habitation inside the park. It is one of the natural habitat of the Great Indian Bustard. So answers are option D also, B also, and C as well. Okay. B option is 2 and 3, C option is 1 and 3, and D option is 1, 2 and 3. C option. So see, it is spread over 2 districts. That is true. You will find that this the Desert National Park is spread over 2 districts in Rajasthan. Okay, but there is human habitation. You will find that there are more than 50 plus villages. There is more than 50 plus villages in this area. What we see in that in India's Desert National Park. So there are multiple villages and habitation within this Desert National Park. So this second statement here is incorrect. And yes, it is one of the homes of the Great Indian Bustard. So yes, this first and third option are correct here. The answer will be C. Sorry, C option 1 and 3. Now, we have discussed about Reserve Bank of India in the previous sessions also. So tell me about this one. Consider the following statement with respect to Reserve Bank of India. It is a banker to the central government. It formulates and administers monetary policy. It acts as an agent of the government in respect of India's membership of IMF, and it handles the borrowing program of Government of India. It handles the borrowing program of Government of India. So in the present context, see, this question was asked in 2000, I think 10 or 12 also, or 2006 also. Yes, the national park is there, Desert National Park, and we have habitation there. That is the uniqueness. That's why this question was there. So look at this question. It is a banker to the central government. It formulates and administers monetary policy. It acts as an agent of the government in respect of India's membership of IMF. And fourth option is, it handles the borrowing program of Government of India. So one answer is A option. Some of you are also going for option C. One answer is D also from Vishnu and Virendra. All seems to be correct. Okay. C option, D option is 3 and 4. Okay. Now see, the answer of this question had changed from the time when it was asked earlier. I think perhaps it was asked in 2006 or 2012. At that time there was a different condition, and now the condition is different. It is a banker to the central government. This is entirely true. There is no such challenge in this. Okay. Now the second is, it formulates and administers monetary policy. Now this is going to be incorrect statement. This is going to be an incorrect statement, because you know that now we have got the monetary policy committee which is formulating this monetary policy. Earlier, of course, RBI was having the entire power to formulate the monetary policy of India. But now we have got this monetary policy committee. It consists of 3 members from RBI and 3 members from government. 3 government nominated members. So now this is a monetary policy committee which is actually administering or formulating the monetary policy in India. So this second option here is incorrect. The third option is, it's act as agent of government in respect of India's membership of IMF. This is also correct. It handles the borrowing power of Government of India. That is also correct. So yes, the answer here will be B option, that is 1, 3 and 4. Okay. So do remember this one part. Now the formulation of monetary policy is under the ambit of this monetary policy committee. And this monetary policy committee is not entirely RBI. It is a member, 3 members are there from RBI and 3 members are nominated by the Government of India. So yes, this option, this second option here is incorrect. Answer will be B, 1, 3 and 4. Okay. Now, coming to the next question, which one of the following is likely to be the most inflationary in its effect? The first is repayment of public debt, borrowing from the public to finance a budget deficit, borrowing from the bank to finance a budget deficit, and creation of new money to finance a budget deficit. So which one is going to be most inflationary? Which one is going to cause more inflation in our country? One of the answer is option D. X option. Where is the X option? Option D. So I think yes. I think most of you know this question, that yes, creation of new money to finance a budget deficit. Whenever the government will print new monies, then that money is going to increase the money supply in the economy, and when there is more money supply in the economy, then you will find that it is going to bring more and more amount of inflation. In case of any of them, like even if repayment of public debt is there, then also there will be some inflation, but the majority of inflation will be done here when we are creating the new money in a situation where inflation is already high, or when we are printing new money, it will be like we have not created any asset, or we have not done any part in economic growth, but we have just increased the money supply. So this D option will be the correct answer here, creation of new money to finance a budget deficit. Okay. Coming to the next one, the Parliament of India acquires the power to legislate on any item in the state list in the national interest if a resolution to that effect is passed by Lok Sabha by a simple majority of its total membership, Lok Sabha by a majority of not less than 2/3 of its total membership, Rajya Sabha by a simple majority of its total membership, or Rajya Sabha by a majority of not less than 2/3 of its member present and voting. The Parliament of India acquires the power to legislate on any item in the state list in the national interest if resolution to that effect is passed by the Rajya Sabha by what majority? I think yes, Rajya Sabha with special majority or simple majority. I think all of you know that yes, that is article 249, correct. Okay, so article 249, Ritesh, of course it is correct, that if Rajya Sabha is passing that by special majority of not less than 2/3 of its member present and voting. So this answer will be D option. One more question. This question is a relatively older question, but I think you all can answer this. With reference to Constitution of India, which one of the following pair is not correctly matched? Forest is there in concurrent list, Strong Exchange concurrent list, Post Office Saving Bank Union list, and Public Health state list. So which one is not correctly matched? We have a topic with respect to this. With reference to Constitution of India, which one of the following pairs is not correctly matched? Forest concurrent list, Stock Exchange concurrent list, Post Office Saving Bank Union list, and Public Health state list. So even if you have not read it, I think you can answer this quite easily. If you have that much experience, if you have gone through the different topics, I think you can answer this quite easily. Yes, of course the answer here will be B option, the stock exchanges. It is there in union list, not the concurrent list. Okay, so union list, stock exchanges are coming under the union list. Public health is a state subject. Post Office Saving Bank, it is there in union list, and forest has been put under the concurrent list. Okay, so yes, the answer here will be stock exchange. It is there in union list, so that will be the correct answer. Okay, so see, basically we have got this one news article here that now the states can regulate the industrial alcohol. Okay, so what has happened that a 9-judge bench of the Supreme Court, it has held that states have the power to tax not just alcoholic beverages but also industrial alcohol. So there was a contention between the union government and the state government for a very long period of time. There was a contention between the union government and the state government for a very long period of time. There are two types of alcohols, one which is used as a beverage and other which is used as industrial alcohol. Now what has been the situation in India? That alcohol which is used for human consumption or as a beverage, that is being taxed by the state government, whereas the industrial alcohol was being taxed or regulated by the union government. So that was the condition which was existing in India, and the state governments, they were demanding that alcohol which is there in industries, that can also be used for human consumption, or that can be converted for human consumption. So there is a chance of leakage, and hence we should have the power to regulate the industrial alcohol also. Whereas the union government was saying that industries come under the union list, and hence the union government can regulate it. So union government was saying that industries are coming under the union list, so they will have the power to regulate it. Whereas the states were saying alcohol is in our list, so we can regulate it. So this contention was there for a very long period of time. Okay. Now, if you look at this, this was the main question, that the intoxicating liquor can be defined to also include industrial alcohol or not. So that was the main question in this judgment. That was the main question, that can we have this industrial alcohol also under the intoxicating liquor or alcohol as for human consumption. So that was one of the key contention. So what we have seen, we have one thing, entry 8 of list 2, that is the state list. Entry 8 of the list 2, that is the subject, that is the state subject or state list. So under this, there is one thing, that the power to regulate intoxicating liquors, it is under the ambit of state government. Okay, so there is one entry in the state list, which says that the states have the power to regulate the alcohol. Okay, on the other hand, what we see, that entry 52 of list 1, okay, so it allows the union government to control over the industries. Okay, so now union government was saying that industries or the alcohol which is being produced for industrial use must come under the industrial part, or must be recognized as a industry thing, and hence the union government will have the power. Okay, so this is one thing. What we see, that alcohol and other things, liquor, they were included in Industries Development and Regulation Act. There was Industries Development and Regulation Act which was passed by Parliament, and the union government says that when it comes to industrial alcohol, states cannot regulate or states cannot tax on the industrial alcohol. Okay, whereas the states were saying that whether it is alcohol in industries or alcohol for beverage, we can have power over both of this, because industrial alcohol can also be changed into regular alcohol. So that was one of the major thing which was the contention between union and the state. Okay, now if you look at this, what is the definition? If we are talking about industrial alcohol is basically impure alcohol. It will also have compounds such as benzene, pyridine, gasoline, etc. So normally you find that ethanol is considered as alcohol, but when we talk about industrial alcohol, we see that there is addition of so many things, including the benzene, pyridine, gasoline, etc., etc. So in this process, we are adding all these things to ethanol in order to make it as a unfit for human consumption. It is considered useful only for industries. It is considered unfit for human consumption. Whereas if we talk about the normal intoxicating liquor, or the one which causes people to become intoxicated, if we talk about that alcohol, it means all those things, distilled or other liquids which contains 0.5% or more of alcohol, they will be considered as intoxicating. Okay, so if anything is containing 0.5% of ethanol and it is used for human consumption, that is going to be considered as a intoxicating liquor. So in the state list, it is like all the intoxicating liquors, they can be regulated or they can be taxed by the state government. And what is intoxicating liquor? Anything which is containing 0.5% or more of ethanol, they will be considered as intoxicating. Even the medicines which are consisting more than this volume of alcohol, they will be considered as intoxicating liquor. And in that situation, the state government can regulate it. So there were two different things about intoxicating and industrial alcohol. Now it is settled that state government will have power state government will have power to now regulate the industrial alcohol also, as well as intoxicating liquor also. No tax in alcohol, but some under the government has provided to tax. Okay. See, who said that there is no tax in alcohol? There is always a tax in alcohol. For some of the government, the alcohol tax or the liquor tax is the main tax which they are getting. If you might have seen during the time of COVID, the first shop or the first thing which people has opened or which the government has opened, you will find that that was liquor shops. Even during the COVID time, the government focused on opening the liquor shop first and then other shops, because this is one of the major items for their revenue. No, most of the states have heavy taxation on alcohol. Alcohol is not being taxed by the union government. Alcohol is being taxed by the state government. Bihar government, yes, Bihar government has banned. Okay. So remember one thing, alcohol is being taxed by the state government. There are only two things which are out of GST mostly, like two major things which is out of GST. One is your alcohol and second is your petrol, diesel. You'll find that these things have been kept out of the GST regime. On alcohol, there is tax only by the state government. Okay. On alcohol, there is tax by the state government only. And in some states, it can be as high as 30%, 40%, like that. Okay. So, alcohol is being taxed by the state government. So, that was the contention. Now, they will not be asking about this, but I expect you all to read some of the major list topics of state list and concurrent list and union list. There may be a question, and I will ask you in the Monday session. There might be some questions with respect to what are the major entries of union list, state list, and concurrent list. So you have a task. You have a task this weekend, that is, make a list of those items which has been transferred between union, state, and concurrent list. Okay. Some of the items, I am not saying that remember all the entries. What I am saying is, just remember those which has been transferred after this formation of constitution. There has been some transfers, like if we talk about education or we talk about the forest and other things, you will find that there has been some changes in them. There have been some change in them. So in the Monday class, I will be asking you a question that which has been transferred or which is there in concurrent list or union list or state list. So that I expect that you will be reading that from the polity section. Okay. So I hope you all will be doing this. Can I expect this, that you all will be reading this portion? Okay, fine. Coming to the next article, we have this news with respect to Great Indian Bustard. So there has been a recent news. There has been a recent news that there is artificial insemination. There has been artificial insemination of the Great Indian Bustard, and it has led to birth of a baby Great Indian Bustard. Means with artificial techniques. With artificial techniques means like we normally have test tube baby. We normally have test tube baby in humans. So that is a method of artificial insemination. That is a method of artificial insemination. Means like we are injecting the zygote or something. We are injecting the zygote in a female artificially. So that is artificial insemination. The same thing has been carried out in a bird also. The bird is Great Indian Bustard, and it has led to birth of a baby Great Indian Bustard. So that has been done for the first time and that has been done for the first time, and that is why it is remarkable. Now, what are the prospects due to this? First, try to understand what is artificial insemination. Artificial insemination. If we talk about this, this is a process by which this is a process via which we have seen that like in humans we have the test tube baby. In the similar manner, in Great Indian Bustard also, the sperm cells, or sorry, you can say that the male and female sex cells are fertilized, and then they are put back into the male and female cells. The male and female sex cells are fertilized in the lab, and then it is inseminated in the Great Indian Bustard. So that is one thing which has been done, and it has led to growth of a baby Great Indian Bustard. Okay, so that is one thing which has happened. Now, question may not be about artificial insemination, but it can be about the Great Indian Bustard. So let us see this image. Okay, if you look at them, the Great Indian Bustard, you will find that it is one of the critically endangered species of India. Its population, if you look at this, now its population is even considered less than 150. It is considered about 100 to 120 approximately. Okay, so if you look at these animals, you will find that the males are larger than females and have a distinctive black crown and a long slender neck with a white face. Like you can see, the white face is there, a black crown is there, and the neck is quite long. So it has got a slender long neck, a black crown, means you can see a black portion over here, and at the same time you can see that the white face is observed in the Great Indian Bustard. Okay, then what we see that it has brownish body and white underparts. If you can see, it has got the brownish body and white underparts of this bird. Okay, and then the wings are large and are marked with black and white, which becomes evident in flight. So you can see black and white colors are there. So when it is flying, then these colors become more and more evident. So that is how it appears to us. That is what it appears to us. Okay. Ankit, I will have to check that again once, that whether it was done as part of after fertilization or before fertilization. So I will check it again and then I will tell you. Okay. So I have not gone into the detail of that, but I will check and I will tell you. Okay. Now, if we look at this, like this Great Indian Bustard, let's talk about like what are the main challenges for this. Okay. If you look at this, the population, it is now around 120 to 150 approximately. Okay, where it is found in India? Where do we have this? Great Indian Bustard in India? You will find that it is mostly concentrated in Rajasthan. Earlier, it used to be part of. Earlier, it was spread over Gujarat also, portions of Maharashtra also, Andhra Pradesh also, even up to Karnataka, we can find this Great Indian Bustard. But now it is mostly concentrated in, of course, the grassland regions of this Rajasthan. Okay, you will find one thing. If we talk about the habitat, it prefers dry grasslands. It prefers the dry grasslands. Means now from here itself you can see a very remarkable thing about this, or a threat also to this. It is preferring the dry grasslands, and one of the major threat is irrigated lands. Now you know that in Rajasthan in the last 50-60 years we have got huge amount of investment by the government and other agencies for turning the desert like situations into a evergreen, or you can say that into a fertile land. So while we are trying to make the land fertile, while we are trying to make it irrigated, what we see that what we are also seeing that these great Indian bustard, they are losing their habitat. They are losing their habitat due to this irrigated land. So that is one of the major threats for the great Indian bustard. Is it Gujarat state bird or Rajasthan's? Great Indian bustard is the state bird of which state? Rajasthan or Gujarat? It is the state bird of which one? Gujarat or Rajasthan? It is yes. It is Rajasthan, not Gujarat. It is Rajasthan. Okay. So you will find that this is the state bird of Rajasthan. Rajasthan state bird. Okay. So see, one of the challenge for this great Indian bustard is the irrigated land. The second major challenge is power transmission lines. Power transmission lines. See, if you look at these birds, they are very much tall also. Their height can be up to if you look at their height, it can be as high as 3.3 feet. Okay, it can grow up to 3.3 feet also. Means it can be up to that height. It can go up to 3.3 feet also. So you can see, you can imagine a little bit smaller child can be approximately of the height of great Indian bustard. So it is a very long bird. It is a very a big bird, which you can see from here. Okay. Now, if we talk about this bird, what is happening when it is flying in the sky? It has got poor eyesight. This bird has got poor eyesight. Okay. This bird has got a poor eyesight. Poor eyesight plus huge body, and when it is flying in the sky, it is not able to see power transmission lines, transmission cables. So it is not able to see the power transmission cables, and even if it is seeing this, it is too late for it. Suppose it has reached just near the power transmission line, then it sees that there is a power transmission line. It tries to take a turn, but it will not be able to change its path. It will not be able to change its path before collision with these power transmission lines. Suppose that if you are driving a cycle, you can stop it at any point. But if you are driving a huge trolley or a truck or a bus, you cannot turn it at any point of time. You will have to give some time. So that you can take a turn. Okay. But these birds, they are not having very good eyesight. They are able to see only up to 50 meter. They are only up to see up to 50 meter or something like that. So it means they will collide. There will be collision with power transmission line. There will be collision with power transmission lines. Okay. So when they collide with this, then they are going to be destroyed. They are going to be killed in those power transmission lines. Any reason behind poor eyesight? It is mostly part of evolution of organisms. They were not required to have that much eyesight. Okay, they didn't know at the time of evolution that they will need a better eyesight to see the transmission lines. Okay, it dies mostly because of the power transmission line. Okay, so it is able to see the nearby things, but it is not able to identify those wires from a long distance. Okay, so this is one part. There is first challenge, that is irrigated land. Second thing is power transmission lines. Both of them have become a huge threat for these great Indian bustards. Their population, if you look at this, their population, it was something around 2000 in 1960s, and now it has come down to 150 in 2020s. Okay, so its population has dropped enormously. Its population has dropped enormously. If we look at this organism right now, if you see its status in Wildlife Protection Act, it is there in Schedule 1, Schedule 1 and Schedule 4, of course, because of sites. Okay, then you will find that in IUCN it is listed as critically endangered. It is listed as critically endangered, and in sites also, you will find that this is there in Appendix 1. Okay. So it has been given the highest level of protection. Despite this, we are seeing that its population is declining. Now, do understand here one thing. For this bird, for this great Indian bird, the great Indian bustard, what you will find that there may be question about some angle. Suppose if I ask you, is this endemic? Is this endemic to India? If there is a question, is this endemic to India? What is your answer? Is this bird endemic to India? What is your answer? Endemic means which is found only in that country. Is this endemic to India? No. Okay. No, it is not endemic to India. It is found also in Pakistan. It is found also in Pakistan. Okay. So the answer here will be no right now. It is not found in India, right? Not found only in India. It can be found also in Pakistan as well. Okay. So this is not endemic. The answer here will be B. Endemic means which is found only in a particular region. Endemic means this is found only in a particular region. But what we see that this great Indian bustard is not only found in India, it can be found in parts of Pakistan also. If they ask you, is this endemic to the Indian subcontinent? Is this endemic to the Indian subcontinent? Then your answer can be yes. Yes, it is endemic to the Indian subcontinent. Means it is found only in the regions of the subcontinent of India. Then it can be true. Then it can be true. But if it is India, then it is not true, because it can be found in Pakistan as well. Okay. The population is very low there also. There is no such official count as well, but it is less than 100 for sure. Okay. So that is one thing. This population has fallen enormously. Okay. So this is one part. Second thing is if there is a question, that the great Indian bustard can be found in moist deciduous forest. If there is a question, great Indian bustard can be found in moist deciduous forest, and option 1 is yes, option B is no. Great Indian bustard can be found in moist deciduous forest. Option A is yes, option B is no. So what will be answer here? Yes, Shreya, I have forwarded your concern to the management about this. Okay. So some answer is yes, some answer is no also. See, remember one thing. First thing is, this is a large bird which cannot be there in the forest region. This is going to prefer a grassland type of ecosystem. It will not be found in a moist deciduous forest. It will try to prefer a grassland type of ecosystem. Second thing is, I have told you also already here that it is like getting destroyed due to irrigated land. It is getting destroyed due to irrigated land. And think about moist deciduous, where we have got enormous amount of like rainfall and all other things. So it will not prefer that. It cannot prefer moist deciduous or evergreen or semi evergreen. It will prefer dry deciduous grasslands or scrublands. Okay, dry deciduous grassland or scrubland type of vegetation will be preferred by this great Indian bustard. Okay, so here the answer will be no. Okay, so that is our second topic about the great Indian bustard. Now coming to the third important topic. So we have got this one report. We have got this one report about United Nation from United Nation Environment Program. So it has got this emission gap report. It has got its annual emission gap report. Okay. So emission gap report. Emission gap report prepared by United Nation Environment Program, frequencies annually. Frequencies annually. Okay. So under this, it is trying to tell. It is trying to tell that is our emission gap, like is our emission low enough to control the temperature within 1.5 degrees Celsius or not. So that is what is this all emission gap report is about. Is our emission low enough to control this within 1.5 degree or not? Or like suppose there will be a emission level. If we breach that, then 1.5 degrees Celsius cannot be contained. We will cross that. So it has said that the gap between current emission and where they need to be limit global warming is 1 to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Like the current emission which is there and the emission which is required for reducing the global warming or limiting the global warming to 1.5 degree, that is being reviewed by it. So it has said that in a few years we will cross that limit, and then whatever we do, we might not be able to bring it to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Means right now the emissions which we are doing, that is very high, and in just a few years our emissions will be so much high that the temperature will necessarily increase by 1.5 degrees Celsius or even more than that. Okay, so that is what is being said by the United Nations emission gap report right now. Okay, but this is one part. This is a contentious issue. This is a subjective issue. Okay, some says yes it can be done, some says it cannot be done. So we have to just know the factual things, that it is prepared by UNEP and at the same time the frequencies annually. That is one thing which we can see from here. Now the main thing is like what we are doing globally for climate change. What we are doing globally for climate change, and I have like chosen some of it. I have chosen some of it which you should be aware about right now. That if you are getting a mains question, that what is being done at the global level to limit, or what initiatives have been taken at global level to limit the global warming right now. So one of the famous thing, or one of the most prominent thing, is the Paris Agreement. Okay, so Paris Agreement is saying that all the countries of the world, they have to reduce the emission to keep the global warming within 2 degrees Celsius and more preferably between 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is one thing which they have told. Okay, to limit the global warming and make sure that average temperature do not increase by 2 degrees Celsius, or more preferably by 1.5 degrees centigrade. Okay. So this timeline is till 2021. Sorry, 2000 like 2100. That by the end of the century, it should not be increasing 2 degrees Celsius or more, preferably 1.5 degrees Celsius. Dayanand, we are doing Hindi in the other channel on KGS IAS Hindi. We have that discussion on in Hindi medium. In this channel, we are doing it in English medium. Okay. So see, that is the aim here under the Paris Agreement, that we have to like limit the global warming within 2 degrees Celsius or more, preferably by 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. Okay. So that is what we are trying to do under this Paris Agreement. Under this Paris Agreement, you will find that the countries have submitted certain NDC. Countries have submitted the nationally determined contribution. Can you tell me what are these NDCs? Can you tell me this, that what are these NDCs, nationally determined contributions? Can you tell me what are the NDCs, the nationally determined contribution? I think we have talked about this in some of the session about India's NDC. Can you tell me what exactly are NDC? There was a question in UPSC about this in 2016 or 17. What is this NDC? Tell me fast. What are NDCs? Paris Agreement to reduce greenhouse gas. No, you have to be more like you have to provide me a more concrete answer for this. How much a country contribute to reduce global warming? Okay. See, NDC is basically commitment by countries. Commitments by countries under Paris Agreement. Paris Agreement for fight against climate change. Fight against climate change. Like you have seen, India has also done certain commitments that we will have 500 gigawatt of energy from fossil fuels. We will have 50% of energy, sorry, not fossil fuels, 500 gigawatt of energy from like non-fossil fuels or renewable sources. We will have 50% of energy from renewable sources. We have said that we will reduce our emission intensity by 45%. We will also reduce the carbon of 1 billion ton equivalent per year. So these are some of the commitments which have been done by India. Some of the commitments. Similarly, the other countries have also provided certain commitments. These commitments are called as NDC. Okay. There is also one thing, new qualitative climate goals. Okay. That is also one task which I am giving you. There is a new name right now, new qualitative or new climate qualitative goals or new qualitative climate goals. Okay, NQCG. So read about them also. I will ask you on the Monday. I will ask you in Monday session about NQCG also. New qualitative climate goals. So read about that also. I will ask you again. Okay. All countries decided environmentalist. That is also thing like target of the countries. See, NDCs are not simply anything. NDCs are basically some targets which have been given by the countries in written. In written, they have given it at global forums that in the upcoming 5 to 10 years, this is what we are going to do for fight against the climate change. Like India has said that we will have 500 gigawatt of energy from solar power plant. We will have 50% of our energy from non-fossil fuels. We will also have reduction of emission intensity by 45%. We will also reduce 1 billion carbon dioxide 1 billion ton of carbon dioxide equivalent annually, and also net zero emissions by 2070. So these are Panch Ratnaj. These are Panch Amrit given by India. 5 nectars or Panch Amrit given by India, that what we are going to do in the upcoming years. Similarly, all the other countries have also given their targets in written, that what we are going to do in the upcoming time. Okay. So this is one thing which has been provided by different countries, and they are also submitting their report from time to time, that how much we have achieved. Like right now we are going to have the conference of parties of this UNFCCC. There again you will find that countries will be giving their report what we have done so far. So we will have further more discussion about these topics in upcoming days. So we prepared for them. This is the time for environment. This is the time for environment, November to December. This is the time when you will find that most of the meetings related to environment is there. It is going to be crucial for mains next year also and prelims next year also. So these 2 months current affairs, they are the main current affairs for environment. They are the main current affairs for the environment. Okay. So now see. So we have got this first thing, that is Paris Agreement. The second thing which we know is global methane pledge. There is also one thing called as global methane pledge. So there is like some countries which have decided that we will reduce 30% of methane emission by 2030. Okay. Now there are about 155 countries excluding India. India is not a part of this. But there is a global methane pledge in which various countries of the world, they have said that we are going to reduce the methane emission by 30% by 2030. So this was launched at COP26 in 2021. COP26 Glasgow Summit, that is a remarkable summit. There were 2 questions from that summit in the mains examination. There were 2 questions from that Glasgow Summit in the mains examination. So that is how you have to prepare them. There are frequent questions from these summits. Okay. So see, so this global methane pledge was launched in 2021 at the COP26. This is also something which can be asked in the examination when it has been launched. Okay. India is not part of it. China is also not part of it. But 155 countries of the world, they have joined this pledge for reducing the methane emission. This one topic is crucial, very, very important for prelims 2025. Okay. Prelims 2025. See, why I am saying this? There has been launch of various satellites also for this. One of the prominent satellite being Methane Sat. And there are other satellites also which has been launched for the same purpose. So some satellites also have been launched. Methane Sat. And then other satellites have also been launched, for tracking the methane emission. So this one topic is very much crucial for prelims 2025. Read about that. I will ask questions about this one in the next session. So 3 topics for you. One is about union and concurrent list and state list. One is about global methane pledge, and another is also about the national qualitative climate goals. 3 topics, 3 tasks for you. Okay. Now there is one more thing, climate action fund or loss and damage fund. Loss and damage fund. This was operationalized last year. Okay. This was approved at COP28 climate summit. This is going to be administered by the World Bank. Okay. There has been contribution of around $700 million. That has been the contribution some of the major contributors, and one of the prominent name among the contributors is UAE. Why this is a prominent name? UAE is still considered as a developing nation. UAE is considered as a developing nation, and yet it has contributed $100 million under this climate action fund. India and China have not given any funding under this loss and damage fund. Why? India says that, and China also says that. In this we find India and China together. So they have said that first the developed countries must pay. So European Union along with Germany has given something around $225 million. There is contribution from UAE also. There is contribution from UK also. US has also contributed to this fund, but you can see how much. Just 24.5 million. And not even 24.5 million. If you see the real contribution, it is 17 million approximately. Okay. So India and China simply says that let the developed countries pay first, and then we will give it later. Okay. So that is one thing which is being in debate continuously. Okay. So this loss and damage fund is also there, administered by the World Bank, approved at the COP28 climate summit. So this is also something which has been operationalized now. It is for providing the funds to the poor countries. The poor countries will be given this fund for compensating the effects of climate change. So that is also one of the initiatives. One more thing which is there is Rainforest Action Network. Okay. So basically this is an environmental organization. This is an environmental organization which is working for protecting the rainforest, supporting the right of rainforest inhabitant, stop logging old growth forest, protecting the fragile ecosystem, and reducing the threat of climate change. So this is a private initiative. This is a network. Sometimes they ask you about private networks also. So there is a Rainforest Action Network. It was established in the 1980s itself. It is for protecting the rainforest. Okay. So these are some of the initiatives. We will be covering more in the upcoming times also. Read about these three things which I have given you. Three tasks. One is state, union, and concurrent list. Transfers. Then second is the new qualitative and third is global methane pledge and satellites. So read about these three things. And then we will talk about this in the next session on Monday. Okay. So read about them. I will be asking you questions from these topics. Okay. So see, this is the time when you will be preparing for the environment for prelims also and mains also. Okay. So I expect that you will be going along with this. I will ask you questions also. I will give you some topics also. Okay. So let's meet then in the next session, and then we will discuss the remaining things. Okay. Thank you everyone. Enjoy the weekend. The festivals are also around the corner, but do keep your study schedule in the same manner as it has been there. Thank you so much and take care. Thank you everyone. Good night.